Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So just going to give you some latest news regarding Fred, and there's lots of other things to currently talk about as always. But the first topic of the development I'm going to start with is Fred. So I'm just going to reveal the reason why Fred has recently improved as a Manchester United player. He's come out and admitted that Solskjaer's backing is behind his improved form recently, and he says the trust of the manager is important, and he says he does have this. Fred has been playing regularly, quite recently, due to Paul Pogba's absence, because Solskjaer did reveal not too long ago that Fred will full Paul Pogba's position for quite a while. But fair to play to him, I think he has done really well. Fred has been given them opportunities now, that he would have liked. He never really got them opportunities, under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, Jose Mourinho did recommend Fred into the football club. In the summer of 2018, and we paid, was it around 50 million or just under 50 million pounds for him. I do agree on the aspect, that Manchester United did overpay for him a little bit, but we know in recent years anyway for overpaying for players. He hasn't performed to the standards as we should expect of him. He hasn't really replicated at Manchester United, what he did do with Shakhtar Donetsk, but I think we've got to give him more time at the football club, because obviously not every player does settle in. But recently, he's done really well. Also, Solskjaer, praised him. With his fantastic performance he put out in the 3-1 win against Brighton. Fred did get a man of the match. But yeah, I have been very impressed. And there's still a lot of development in him. He is still only very young. But yeah, he is now flourishing as a Manchester United player. And quite recently, Fred has been playing alongside McTominay in our midfield. And to be quite fair, analysing it, even though, they're not, two Galactico players, they have complemented each other fantastically well in our midfield. With Fred, I don't know if he's the long-term solution for Man United. I don't know if he can, keep the consistency up, time will tell. And I've got the same perception as Scott McTominay. He's also done really well this season. Obviously, McTominay has played more games than Fred this season, because this season, McTominay has been a consistent starter, but reflecting on his impressive performances, he has deserved to keep his place in the team. McTominay, I think he's only 22 years of age. But yeah, I've also, been very impressed with him. But, I think, we have rejuvenated ourselves, you could say, recently, anyway, in the last 6 games or so. I've seen a variety of changes at Manchester United. Disregarding the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth, I have seen a variety of changes. I think, certain players have stepped up to the plate. I think we've showed them a lot of tactical flexibility. We seem to be scoring more goals. Recently, we have also been creating more chances, which is obviously very good, because analysing it for the vast majority of this season so far, in a lot of games, we have been struggling to create chances, and this is the explanation, why we haven't been scoring enough goals. And I've got to be honest, I think probably the Brighton game at the weekend was the best performance of the season so far in the Premier League. Very good performance from Man United. A lot of good individual performances. Should have actually been more than 3-1. Solskjaer admitted, we should have won by a greater margin. But he did say his overarching view on the game against Brighton. He said, attacking football was superb. It was exhilarating. And Solskjaer even admitted, he thought it was the best performance of the season. But we should have won, by 6 or maybe even 7 goals. I also thought it was a very good performance against Partizan Belgrade, winning by 3 goals to 0. Very, very good performance against Norwich away from home. That was also a very, very good performance. Good home performance against Liverpool in the league. You know, we're the only team this season to take many points from Liverpool in the league. So yeah, we have done really, really well in the last 6 games. Like I've mentioned to you guys on recent videos, I think, you know, Rashford has definitely, you know, rejuvenated himself. Yeah, I think he's done well in the last, 3 or 4 games at least. And I've been criticising Marcus Rashford for the vast majority of this season. But recently, you know, I've got to credit him because he has stepped up to the plate. But I even did say, you know, even when Rashford, you know, was, you know, being really, really inconsistent, I still said then he's the long-term solution for Man United because he's still only very, very young. He's 22 years of age. Well, just recently, you know, turned 22. Rashford, as you all know now, has scored 54 goals for the football club. In all competitions, you know, since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. Like I said, you know, Martial's been absolutely phenomenal, you know, since he's come back from injury. And we are all aware that obviously he does have inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch, does Anthony Martial. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, following the departures of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, you know, we do obviously, you know, look very exposed in that attacking line, but at least Martial does, you know, add more inspiration, like I've just mentioned. But he's done really, really well. But he initially enjoyed a good start to this season anyway. But obviously, you know, he obviously went and sustained that thigh injury. But now it's good that he's back from injury. You know, maybe there's still some aspects of Martial's game that he does need to improve on that. But, you know, to be fair, he's improving a lot. And, you know, some aspects of, you know, Martial, you know, do complement Rashford. You know, obviously they can play in the same positions and that, you know, they do have similarities, to be fair. You know, they've nearly scored the same amount of goals. You know, Martial's only one behind Rashford. You know, Martial, I think, scored 53 goals for the football club in all competitions since his arrival from Monaco back in 2015. And now he's into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. And he is only 23. He does predominantly play out wide. For the vast majority of his Man United career, he's actually, you know, played out on that flank. But it got confirmed at the start of this season that he'd been given that number 9 shirt. So when he's played regularly this season, he's obviously not operated in that number 9 role. But it seems to be more effective in that number 9 role anyway. But yeah, fair play to Anthony Martial. He also got 2 assists in the 3-1 win against Brighton. My overarching view on Daniel James, I think, you know, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career, and I'm actually, you know, surprised. I'm actually surprised, you know, of how quick Daniel James has settled in. You know, I didn't think, I thought in time to come he would have probably settled in, but not settled in as quick as he has done. And I'm also surprised with the amount of games that he's played this season, because Daniel James has actually not been a consistent starter this season. I thought he would have played obviously for Man United, but not as many games to the extent, you know, as he has done. But obviously deserves to keep his place in the team, reflecting on his impressive performances. And it's also beneficial that Martial's now back anywhere, because he can help the likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford, you know, which he has done. Daniel James is supposed to be more effective on the left. We've also, though, put him on the right quite a few times. Don't get me wrong, you know, I'll classify Daniel James as still a prospect, and, you know, when we need more time to develop. You know, he's only the age of 21, is Daniel James, but still got a lot of years ahead of him. But, you know, Daniel James did play against Brighton. You know, obviously got rested in the game against Partizan Belgrade. You know, because Solskjaer obviously revealed that he has been overplaying him, and he obviously, you know, was concerned about his fatigue at Manchester United. But Daniel James has played around, you know, 16 games for Man United this season, 19, you know, for club and country. But, you know, I have been very impressed with him. We paid around, £18 million for him. And obviously if he keeps his, you know, good run of form up, his valuation will persistently grow. But, you know, fair play to Daniel James. But we have got a lot of young players in the squad anyway, that are developing and, trying to improve at Man United. Like I've said to you, I've got some element of concerns about certain young upcoming players. So I think, we need to consider, getting rid of quite a few young players next year. That would be a good piece of business from the football club if we did do that. But I can definitely assure that, Greenwood, Brandon Williams and Tuanzebe, perhaps maybe James Garner, will all become successes at the football club. Now, Mason Greenwood, obviously, he's still developing in that. These question marks around Solskjaer, why has he not yet played Mason Greenwood from the start in the Premier League, this season? But I think, he's going to become a fruition at Manchester United, Greenwood, and I think by the time he's 23, 24, I think he will be a world-class centre-forward for us. He's also, an option for the right-hand side, and the games Greenwood has played in this season, he has played on that right-hand side. He has now scored 3 senior goals for the football club. He's only the age of 18, and Solskjaer recently gave his overarching view on Greenwood, and he knows that he's flourishing as a Manchester United player. He's replicating, now in the senior team, what he did, with the reserves there last season. And, and I think he will do really, really well. Solskjaer still believes that he's learning the men's game. And, he actually compared Mason Greenwood to Robin Van Persie. Saying that their finishing is similar. But he will do really well for the football club, Will Greenwood. Brandon Williams, like I said, he was absolutely fantastic on his full Premier League debut in the game against Brighton. He's done well in quite a few games this season. I think Brandon Williams has played around 4 or 5 games now. And I did say, didn't I, on one of my videos before that, Brandon Williams would earn more first team promotions if he did keep his consistency up, which he has done in that. And I can definitely say now that left back has been confirmed. Left back's been confirmed, and I think Brandon Williams is the right solution. I think he's a better solution than Luke Shaw. A lot of Man United fans will agree with that. He's a much better solution than Ashley Young. But definitely left back has been confirmed. And he signed a new contracted Brandon Williams not too long ago. I think definitely they'll become a success. Some of them, and James Garner, I don't really have a perception on him at the moment. I think he does need to play a bit more for me to have a perception on him. I thought he did well on his full debut for the football club in the 1-0 win against Partizan Belgrade, but he's still only very, very young. Andres Pereira, you can say he's had a good couple of games this season. Don't get me wrong, there's still some aspects of his game, Andres Pereira, that he does need to improve on. Obviously this season he has obviously played in that, he's operated in that playmaker's role, and he has actually played the vast majority of the games this season, Andres Pereira, but still need to give him time, still needs more time to develop. But like I said, I have seen variety of changes, recently. Even though we have rejuvenated ourselves recently, it doesn't change my perception at all regarding Solskjaer. Like I've told you on numerous occasions, I still believe he isn't the right man to elevate Manchester United. Obviously, Solskjaer and Ed Woodward, obviously, I've got comparison, to what I think, because obviously, I know what a lot of Man United fans think, because Solskjaer obviously still feels as though he's the right manager to elevate Manchester United forward. And also to Ed Woodward, insists 100% that he's backing Solskjaer, and he has assured that his job is safe, despite our disastrous start to the season. Because I know we've done well recently, but we did obviously enjoy our worst start to a Premier League season for more than 30 years. And last time we had as bad a start to a season as this was back under the Ron Atkinson era. This was obviously nowhere before the Alex Ferguson era. But yeah, like I said, we've done well recently. And for the vast majority of this season, I have been criticising a lot of the players, like I mentioned. I've also been criticising Solskjaer a lot, mainly to do with his tactics, because for the vast majority of this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been tactically naive, like I mentioned. But, you know, for the vast majority of this season anyway, Solskjaer's mainly stuck with the same formation. You know, he has obviously, you know, been going out with that 4-2-3-1 formation. And, you know, we do know really that formation, what didn't seem to be working, you know, obviously in the games against Liverpool and Partizan Belgrade in the Europa League. I think also in the game against Chelsea, in that, you know, he actually, you know, went with three at the back. So we went with a 3-4-1-2, or we went with a 3-5-2. And, you know, we actually, you know, seemed better, you know, with that current formation. So at least Solskjaer, you know, tried a few different elements in that. But I think now the pressure would have eased off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot, you know, maybe not fully, but it would have eased off him a lot. You know, reflecting on our good run of form recently. Because obviously, you know, reflecting back before the Liverpool game, you know, Solskjaer, you know, was under intense pressure at the football club. Obviously, you could say, you know, if we'd have suffered that if we'd have suffered a heavy defeat to Liverpool, that could have ended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure. If we'd have lost to Norwich, that could have ended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure. So you could probably say that the Liverpool game, the Norwich game, and that, could, you know, they probably, you know, saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Manchester United. You know, you could say that. But like I did say anyway, I think us getting rid of Solskjaer now, obviously, you know, wouldn't solve a lot of problems at the football club, you know. And, you know, some people are still saying, look, you know, we need to give him at least a couple more windows, you know, to see who else he can recommend to the football club, because, you know, there's only three players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, and the three players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's is Daniel James, Wan Bissaka, and Harry Maguire. And obviously, you know, we spent nearly £150 million on all them players. So, like I said to you, you know, there's some aspects of me that do credit Solskjaer, because he did recommend three good players into the squad. And during the summer, you know, we did address some of the problematic areas, which was good. You know, we got that experienced centre half in, you know, where we also got that right back in. But it was obviously going to be extremely difficult for us, you know, to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window. I did say, didn't I, from my overarching view on it all, I think, you know, we need at least 5 to 6 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. You know, perhaps, you know, maybe, you know, we may even need more than that. But Solskjaer, you know, is aware of the deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. You know, we definitely need a midfielder. We need a midfielder. Some people believe we need two central midfielders, even though Freddie McTominay have been good this season. Maybe, you know, they can't be reliable, you know, for the long term. So this is why, you know, this is probably one of the explanations why, you know, we need a midfielder. And plus, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, could still leave Manchester United next year. But we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. Like I've mentioned to you, you know, we do need a striker. We definitely need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, but we need someone to come in that can score us goals, someone who can be more effective in the box and that. And you could say, you know, we need to add more experience in that attacking line. You know, don't forget, for the majority of the summer as well, we was in search for a right winner. But Solskjaer's been assured anyway, you know, that he will be given money to spend next year. You know, I think from my own perception, we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. So we'll look to sign at least 1 or 2 players in January, but then we'll do the vast majority of it next summer. From an estimated guess, I think we're orchestrating on spending another substantial amount on recruiting more players. An estimated guess though, I think we'll spend from between 200 to 250 million pounds at least in the next couple of windows. But it's very, very imperative next year that Manchester United do get the right calibre players to the football club. But like I mentioned, if we can, you know, keep this good run of form up until January, until the end of the season, then it's going to be more beneficial, because then, you know, we can attract players to the elite level. But obviously, you know, with us not being in Champions League football, that also does go against you, because if you're not in Champions League football, then it's going to be harder to get the right calibre players in, you know. But yeah, Solskjaer has got a lot of players on his agenda, who would like to recommend him to the football club next year. He's got a lot of players on his agenda, and Solskjaer did. I think he's revealed that he's keen on changing his transfer strategy for January. Solskjaer did say during the summer that he obviously wanted to recruit young British players. That's what he did during the summer. He said he was actually keen on continuing that policy, but actually now could change his transfer policy in that. But yeah, a massive rebuild is definitely nowhere needed at the football club, because obviously analysing it, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the football club, and Solskjaer, of course, now is still inheriting the vast majority of them. Want to also give you some news regarding Erling Haaland, who currently plays for Red Salzburg. Who currently now plays for Red Bull Salzburg. I give you an update regarding him the other week. He's one of the players on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. I think, the beneficial thing about recommending him is that, he has played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance during his short spell with Molde. So maybe, Solskjaer is keen on reuniting with a player. He has now got a pretty decent pedigree of, scoring in that in the Champions League. He's scored a lot of goals this season for Red Bull Salzburg. He is only 19 years of age. So do you think, he would be the right calibre player for Man United? Solskjaer has actually instructed the club, to sign Erling Haaland. So he's definitely one player on our current agenda. Obviously, we've got Mario Mandzukic. He's one of the players that's on our agenda. To be quite honest with you, I think it's very, very imminent that we're going to sign Mario Mandzukic next year, and I expect Man United to sign him in January, because we was in for Mario Mandzukic during the course of the summer transfer window. We also inquired about getting towards the back end of the window, but we didn't manage to persuade Juventus to offload him. Now, obviously, it's now comparison, because, I think Juventus want to get rid of him. Don't forget, quite a few weeks ago now, Mario Mandzukic slashed his wage demands in half, from 300 grand a week to 150 grand a week, in order to leave Juventus to make the move to Manchester United. Now, I think he would be reliable for us. He's got a good pedigree. I think he would be a good replacement for Lukaku. Obviously not a long-term replacement for Lukaku regarding his age. The only element of concern I've got about as recommending Mario Mandzukic is that he is now 33 years of age. So you can say he's only got a couple of years left in his footballing career, Mario Mandzukic, and I think Juventus only are looking for around 9 or 10 million pounds to him. So the good thing is, he's a cheaper solution. He's Mandzukic. For Juventus, he scored 44 goals, I think, in around 162 appearances in all competitions. He's still under contract with them until 2021. But yeah, at least he'll have more experience in our attacking line if he does come in. So I think he actually could be our first signing in January, our fourth signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So yeah, it looks like, he will be coming in, Mario Mandzukic, but obviously Solskjaer, I think, wants to bring another forward in once the transfer of Mario Mandzukic is complete. Don't forget, we have got Moussa Dembele on our agenda. Again, I think, he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United, Moussa Dembele. We inquired about getting Moussa Dembele during the course of the summer. He wasn't one of our main priority targets. So what I mean in that aspect is that we was tentatively linked with him. We are aware that it's probably going to cost the club a substantial amount, to recommend him in, whether we're going for him in January or next summer. But the beneficial thing about recommending him, he's played in the Premier League. He began his senior career with Fulham and he was at Fulham a number of years, and he did really, really well. And then obviously he went on a good couple of years with Celtic. Now he's doing really, really well with Lyon. He's currently now into his second season with Lyon. You know, Leon paid around £20 million to him from Celtic last summer. He is under contract here with Leon until 2023. But honestly, you know, I think if he comes to Man United, Moussa Dembele, he can replicate, you know, what he's done with all them teams. And he is only 23 years of age, and he is obviously, you know, an out-and-out number 9. So I'd love him to come in. I would be excited about the prospect of him, you know, playing alongside the likes of Rashford, Daniel James, Martial, and even Mandzukic in the attacking line if Mandzukic comes in. So he would dramatically improve us. You know, Jadon Sancho is still another one of the players that's on my agenda. You know, I've actually been long admirers of Jadon Sancho. You know, we was in for him during the course of the summer. You know, reflecting back in January, you know, we identified Jadon Sancho as our main priority target. But you know, like I mentioned, we've got screwed for Jadon Sancho with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. Obviously, you know, he's been at Borussia Dortmund now. You know, he's been at Borussia Dortmund now for around 2 years as Jadon Sancho, but he's now into his 3rd season as a Borussia Dortmund player, and I think he has really, you know, made a big, massive impact at Dortmund. You know, obviously Borussia Dortmund did get him for next to no. You know, they only paid around £7 or £8 million for him. But obviously, you know, analysing his performances in the last couple of years he's been with Dortmund, you know, his valuation has persistently grown. So if we was to go in for Jadon Sancho next year, I could almost assure that we would be paying in the excess of around £100 million him. But the good thing is that we've got the financial power to meet that valuation. And plus, you know, he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. And he's still under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. Obviously, before he was at Man City, he served a couple of years there with Man City, but obviously never got assured first team opportunities at Man City. And this is the main factor reason why I left City to join Borussia Dortmund. You know, and he's still only 19 years of age. Primarily plays out on the right, but can also, you know, play centrally. So he's another player. Well, he still remains on my agenda. I give you the update, didn't I, not too long ago about Christian Eriksen. I think it's very, very likely, you know, we could go in for him next year, because I think, you know, he can dramatically improve us in that midfield, can Christian Eriksen. And I do believe we've probably seen him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, but disregarding what happens with Pogba, you know, we still need at least one midfielder anywhere. I was reading reports not too long ago, and it actually said, you know, we are willing to bid up to around 42 or 43 million pounds for Christian Eriksen in January or at some point next year. And he reportedly said, you know, we'd opened up negotiations with Christian Eriksen regarding a potential January transfer. You know, Tottenham obviously do know how much of an imperative player he is. Tottenham are you know, aware that he probably, you know, does want to leave, because Christian Eriksen did reveal at the beginning of the summer that he wanted to seek a new challenge and wanted to leave Tottenham basically to rejuvenate his career. I still think it's more probable that he will end up at Real Madrid more than Man United. Obviously, you know, Real Madrid inquired about getting him during the summer. Real Madrid could reignite their interest in January. But, you know, we went in for Christian Eriksen towards the back end of the summer transfer window. But, you know, we actually opted out of the race for him, because we felt as though his preference was a move to Real Madrid. Christian Eriksen is around, I think he's around 27 years of age now, is he? Something like that. 27, I think, Christian Eriksen. So he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. You know, he's been at Tottenham 6 years now. He's now into his 7th season there with Tottenham. You know, he's not far away now from making 300 appearances for Tottenham in all competitions. You know, Tottenham paid, was it just over £11 million for him from Ajax back in 2013. But he's actually, you know, primarily an attacking midfielder. You know, he comes to an end of his current contract term at the end of the season. So Tottenham, you know, Tottenham know it would be more beneficial to, you know, cash in for him in January rather than let his contract run down at the end of the season and let him go on a free transfer. So yeah, he's another player on our agenda. You know, we could possibly, you know, reignite our interest in Bruno Fernandes next year. That's another player we could reignite our interest in. Because he was actually, you know, one of our main priority targets during the course of the summer transfer window. James Maddison is also, you know, another player on our agenda. So yeah, there's so many players, you know, that we could go in for next year. But you know, the list of players I've just gone through with you, who we have got on our agenda, I've got to say all of them, or if not all of them, the vast majority of them would be the right calibre players for Manchester United, definitely. But hopefully, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, can be back next year, because I can definitely assure that he will be at the end of the season. He will definitely be here in January. But I can almost assure as well that he won't see out his 3-year contract at Man United, because when Solskjaer had been given the job permanently, he had been given a 3-year contract. And I think that was one of the mistakes from the football club, you know, giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. You know, we should have never ever given the job. So that's one of the mistakes Man United have made. But there again, you know, we've made several mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. In the last 6 or 7 years. But yeah, I think the board did assure at the start of this season, anyway, you know, regardless of the outcome this season, Solskjaer's job will be safe, because, you know, the board realised that they didn't back him enough during the course of the summer and that. But even though, like I said, you know, that we've rejuvenated ourselves recently, you know, I still believe we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. You know, like I said, you know, I don't think Solskjaer's not the right man. I think, you know, the board are a liability, and I think, you know, the board haven't only been a liability recently. You know, they've been a liability for several years. And I think, you know, we need to get rid of our current board, because, you know, you can't rely on them, you know. And I think, you know, they do need to assure structural changes at the football club. And I just don't think, you know, they're reliable enough, you know, how to do this. So I think we need to get rid of our current board. But I think, you know, mainly due to our inconsistency anywhere, for the vast majority of this season and in the last 6 or 7 years, the vast majority of the blame does stem from the board. Everyone's got to take responsibility, obviously, but most of it's the board. And I think also Ed Woodward does, you know, compliment the board, because I think, you know, he's also a liability. He's been a liability for several years. So he basically replicates the board, and quite frankly, you know, not reliable enough, you know, to oversee our transfer business, you know. And I think, you know, these still, you know, players now at Manchester United, you know, that are no longer, you know, good enough to represent the football club. So I think we need to get rid of around, you know, at least 4 or 5 more players next year. You know, I think, you know, definitely not Ashley Young. He's one of the problematic players. You know, I think, you know, we need to definitely not get rid of Ashley Young. You know, he's actually, you know, surprisingly been playing on a regular basis this season as Ashley Young. I don't know why, to be quite honest with you, but he has done in that. And, you know, Young's been a long-serving player with the football club. You know, he's now into his 9th season as a Man United player. He's now been here 8 years, but you can quite frankly say he has passed his sell-by date, 34, you know, 35 years of age next year. But yeah, Jones, one of the problematic players. I think it was a bad mistake from the football club last season, giving Phil Jones that new long-term contract. You know, and Jones, obviously, you know, his appearances are limited in the Premier League, because obviously Solskjaer's first choice centre-backs are Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Jones, don't get me wrong, will get his chance in the Carabao Cup and, you know, the Europa League and that, but, you know, prior to that, you know, he won't really get his chances. And Jones is now into his 9th season as a Man United player, and of course he has been here 8 years, so we can get rid of him, you know, next year. You know, it would be very beneficial, and plus, you know, we'd be able to cash in for the player. Right, I've given you the news, haven't I, about Marcos Rojo. I've given you the news about Marcos Rojo. That's a bit like there. You know, some Man United fans will have different perceptions on Marcus Rojo and that. You know, from my perception, I think we still need to move him on. You know, whether it's next year or sometime in the future, we still need to move him on because you know he's compatible to Jones in that aspect. He's also not going to get his chances in the Premier League hardly. You know, like I said, he'll get his chance in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup and that. You know, to be fair to Rojo though, you know, we have seen glimpses of how good he can be this season. His versatility is very, very good. You know, he's predominantly a centre back, but you know, we've seen him play as a full back and a wing back. 29 years of age, you know, just got under 2 years left on his contract. Don't forget, you know, he was subjected to intense speculation during the summer. Was Rojo? You know, obviously Everton had inquired him by getting him. I thought Everton, you know, were going to get him, but obviously, you know, they didn't because obviously Everton and Man United couldn't come to an agreement on a fee. I think, you know, our valuation, what we wanted was around £25 million. But I think, you know, Solskjaer's revealed the reason why he's keen on keeping Rojo, so he's actually, you know, prevented him from leaving the football club in January, as you know, Solskjaer definitely know the Nemanja Matic is one of the problematic players at the football club. You know, I think we need to consider, you know, getting rid of him next year. You know, and I even, despite the fact, you know, that we haven't strengthened up in our midfield, you know, I still believe now as it stands, any of our midfielders are better, you know, solutions than Matic. Definitely Fred's a much better solution than Matic. You know, I've got a lot of element of concerns about Matic. You know, he's too slow, makes that midfield look totally imbalanced, too easily predictable, you know, too much of a liability. And these are the various reasons why, you know, I don't think he's, you know, good enough for Man United. You know, he isn't getting any younger as well. That's another element of concern. He's now 31 years of age, is Matic. He's now into his third season as a Man United player. You know, I do agree on the aspect, definitely, that we overpaid for Matic. You know, we paid around £40 million from Chelsea. And, you know, we shouldn't have recommended him to the football club. But there we go. Maybe there's some aspects of his game that he can do well on. You know, sometimes he can pass the ball well and, you know, he can hold his line well. But I think prior to that, I've got a lot of concerns about him. Matic comes to an end of his current contract, by the way, at the end of this season, so we could lose him on a free at the end of this season, but we do have an option to extend his contract by a further year, but obviously, you know, Man United more than likely won't do that. Some people are saying, you know, we should move Jesse Lingard on because, you know, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult start to this season as Jesse Lingard. And like I mentioned, you know, reflecting on his status at the football club, you know, he should be putting much more better performances out. A lot of Man United fans now are starting to become very, very sceptical about Jesse Lingard. You know, is he going to regain form again? Because we have seen Jesse Lingard at his best as a Manchester United player. So some people believe, you know, we do need to move him on. So yeah, definitely another 4 or 5 more players do need to be moved on. But, you know, as it stands at the moment, we are sitting 7th in the Premier League. You know, the 3-1 win against Brighton, you know, last weekend, obviously, you know, got us up to 7th because prior to that game, you know, we were sitting 14th in the league. You know, we're 12 games into the Premier League season, you know, we've won 4 so far, we've drawn 4, and we've lost 4. So, in that aspect, we've registered 16 points from a possible 36. Obviously, we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. And I think, you know, we still do remain around 9 points behind top 4. You know, it's obviously going to be very, very difficult for us, you know, to get into that top 4 this season. Anything, you know, is still possible because there's still a long way to go in this season. You know, there's still a lot of twists and turns to come. But I actually, you know, fully disregarded that top 4. But we need that top 4 so we can get back into the Champions League and that. Because like I mentioned, reflect on the size, the potential of this club and the amount of money in that's being invested into this football club. You know, you could say we should be at least challenging for the top 4 and that. But, you know, we are still in it, but I've actually, you know, fully disregarded it. I did say, I think, you know, our only route to Champions League football for next season is progressing in the Europa League this season, and the positives are that, you know, we are into the you know, we are into the knockout stages, of the Europa League. We've still 2 games to spare, and you know, we are into the also knockout stages, the the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. So these are some positives, you know, you can take into account. And Solskjaer recently admitted that our league form has got to improve, because we've won as much, or we have won more in the cup, you know, than we actually have in the league. But I did confirm, didn't I, at the start of this season, that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top four, you know. And obviously, I did say Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations. But to be quite honest with you, I think our aspirations will be that top four anywhere in the next couple of seasons, because, you know, we're not going to win the league for quite a while. I don't think we're going to win the league for at least the next 2 to 3 years, maybe even longer. You know, it's dependent on if we can get the right calibre players to Man United within the next couple of transfer windows. But it is a long process, obviously. It's a long process, obviously. But I didn't I, you know, I expected us this season not to win the league or mount any kind of title challenge up. But one thing I did expect for us to do was to enjoy a better season, you know, than what we saw last season, because obviously, you know, our last season was a huge disappointment. Was a huge disappointment in that, and you know, we have still got quite a lot of injuries. So obviously, anyway, you know, reflecting on the injuries we've had this season, Solskjaer has had to make a lot of alterations in the squad. Some players have obviously, you know, come back from injury. Obviously, I give you the news, didn't I, yesterday regarding Scott McTominay, didn't I? It confirmed that he had withdrawn from the Scotland squad. He's had initial scans on his ankle, and he has obviously, you know, got an ankle injury, and he confirmed that he could be out for up to a month. I think it's been assured as well that McTominay will miss the games against City and Tottenham, which is obviously now a huge disappointment. But yeah, you know, McTominay is going to be a big miss in our midfield. Solskjaer did provide us with the update saying that he could be out for up to a month. You know, he's had these initial scans, I think, or he's going to have these initial scans. Obviously, Paul Pogba, Solskjaer, obviously, he did confirm, didn't he, that he's not expected back until December. He did say there was a slight chance maybe that Paul Pogba, you know, could be back for the Sheffield United game after the international break, but highly unlikely. But, you know, the good news came out regarding Paul Pogba earlier on this week, as I did give you an update on. You know, he travelled to Amsterdam, did Pogba, to have his ankle caster removed. So that indicates out now that he's closer to recovering from injury, you know, which is very, very good news. But Paul Pogba's had an ongoing ankle injury that's been surrounding the player anywhere for a matter of weeks. And I think the last league game he played for us was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal earlier on in the season. But yeah, it's good that he's closer to recovering, even though he's mainly enjoyed a difficult time at Man United, you know, in comparison to his time when he was at Juventus. You know, I still think he's a very, very imperative player. He's Pogba. We still know the difference he can make in that midfield. And Pogba in that midfield, and taking him out of the equation, you can obviously, you know, see the difference. But to be fair, Fred and the likes of Fred and McTominay, you know, hit the ground running really, really well anyway. But yeah. And Matic, I think, is still out with a minor problem. Luke Shaw still out with a hamstring injury. Tuanzebe, like I mentioned, is still out with a hip injury. But I think Solskjaer did confirm that more players are expected back from injury. More players are expected back to recover from injury after the international break. So I think he did say Shaw, Matic and Tuanzebe, they're supposed to be back after the international break. I'm not too sure regarding Diogo Dalot. Diogo Dalot is out with a leg injury, and he's sustained quite a few injuries this season. Is Diogo Dalot. I'm very, very adamant that, you know, when he does regain full fitness, you know, he will get more opportunities, even though he isn't our first choice, you know, full back. It's obviously Wan-Bissaka that's our first choice right back, but he will get more opportunities. Bay's out until the end of the year with a knee injury, as you all know. Fosu Mensah is still out, but I don't think he's too far away now from returning. But, you know, we have had a lot of injuries, you know, this season. That's not excusable, you know, for how bad, you know, we have been for the vast majority of this season. But, you know, when you've obviously got your full players fit, obviously, you know, it is very, very beneficial. But like I said to you anyway, Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. And, like I said, we're not really known for a sacking club. And, we haven't got the structure anywhere to keep sacking managers, despite the fact that 3 managers have already been sacked since the Alex Ferguson era and that. So, yeah, we can't, just keep sacking managers. No, we can't just keep doing that. But, Solskjaer, hasn't been at the football club, that long anyway. He's only been here overall for around 11 months. He's been here just under a year. He's obviously, been a permanent boss for around 8 months and that. But yeah, give him a bit more time at the football club. You do know, obviously, I've got element of concerns about him as well. He hasn't really got any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Man United, despite the fact he does know the traditions of the football club. But we will see, obviously, what happens. Got something else up there on Mike Phelan also recently came out and, said, he said that Solskjaer is following, Matt Busby's philosophy at the football club. Solskjaer actually, confirmed himself that he thought he was, well, he said he was following, Alex Ferguson's philosophy in that. But yeah, the question is, are we going to ever be the team, that we was under Alex Ferguson? Are we ever going to get back to be the team as we was under Alex Ferguson? And that is the question in that. But it's going to obviously take a long process in that. But yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.